Hey guys, so it's Chris from Intheroughcrystals, and this is kind of a random video, but this topic just kind of came up. So, um, the focus of this kind of conversation or chat is centered around working with crystals. So, what I've been finding a lot, just because, within myself, I run an online crystal business outside of doing readings and also doing spirit coaching. And lately, I've been doing a lot more personal coaching, working very intimately and one on one with clients. And this isn't a new revelation. I think I've said it many times. Like, if you're someone that follows me over on my crystal page or has been a part of the Periscope experience with me, um, I've always had the philosophy that if you are someone that has a lot of crystals or you're always buying crystals, to me that's an indication of someone that really needs a lot of healing. The more that we heal the fragmented parts of ourselves, then we're able, basically, that's a process of doing what? We're releasing, we're letting go. We're letting go of things that don't serve us. We're letting go of, from our mental bodies, our patterning, program, our thought forms that are not who we are. And our emotional body, we're letting go of dense pockets of pain that no longer serve us. But the key word is that we are letting go. So when we heal parts or aspects of ourselves, then let's say, for example, I'll use the crystal green calcite. And green calcite for me is the premier crystal of letting go and healing, especially when it comes to wounds and things that have afflicted our heart. So what it's going to do is going to bring those things up. It's going to make you not so much, well, I'm not going to say they're not going to make you aware, but they're going to make you aware of what those things are. And a lot of those things that come up are going to be subconscious and unconscious things that you've suppressed or repressed. So what happens generally is when people work with crystals, they either A, oh, the crystal's pretty, or B, I need this crystal for, X, Y, and Z. And what happens is they start working with the crystal, and the um, the energetic or vibrational signature of the crystal connects with their crystalline structure. So you start to vibrate at a different rate, which is what triggers the reaction to, between the crystal and yourself. So in a case of green calcite, when it brings that stuff up, what I find that happens a lot is that now people don't want to deal with what's coming up. They don't want to face the pain. They don't want to feel. So basically, they create more blocks. They create more blocks. And it's like you're fighting against yourself and your own healing. And you're also, you're fighting against the work and the integration and what that vibrational signature and the energetic signature of the crystal is trying to bring into your life. So in turn, when we create more blocks, it diverts to other blocks. It splinters you even more. So we find people like, okay, well, green calcite didn't work for me, so I need to go find another crystal, which is why we see the patterns of people just get buying and buying and buying crystals. Now, being someone that has a business of selling crystals, would that be great from a financial standpoint? Absolutely, sure. However, my goal and my purpose is to hold a space of healing for people. So, it's important, it's an important thing to keep in mind is that, crystals are tools. All of these things are tools. Crystals are tools, readings are tools. But if you don't work the tools, if you don't work the system, then you create more blocks. So it's important that, when you are working with these tools, they're going to make you feel uncomfortable. They're going to bring up things that you're going to deal with. And depending on the crystals that you're working with, some are more intense than others. So it's important that you educate yourself about the crystals that you're working with, because again, there's, like, I'll use one example: astrophyllite. Astrophyllite is a beautiful crystal. However, astrophyllite is very intense. um, you know I always tell people, if you're really ready to go inside and do the shadow work, and really, and I mean, I'm talking about going into the deep repressed and suppressed parts of yourselves, that and pain pockets that you're not consciously aware of. um, okay, work with astrophyllite. If you're not prepared to face those aspects of yourself, it's going to be a traumatic experience. It's another reason why I feel like it's important to get out of the habit of just buying a tremendous amount of crystals at one time. It's another reason why I feel like it's important to, and I would recommend everyone to do this. You know, if you have a day, like a day on the weekend or something, like, really pull out all your crystals and connect with them intuitively, and see what crystals call to you, and take those crystals and put them to the side. Anything else, unless it's kind of like a collector's, like, or a display piece that you have, purge it, let go of it, because it's not in resonance with what you need at that time. And, it could be a piece or a crystal or item that someone else really needs for their path and their healing process at this time. Um, Another thing I would recommend is, and this is optional, of course, like, I do offer it myself. I offer crystal trinity readings. So with the crystal trinity reading, and it's something you can do every month. It's something that can be focused on a 6 month window, um, whatever resonates with you. But what I do is I tap into the energetic signature of the crystals to determine what crystal energies, or what crystal deva wants to work with you at the process that you are in your healing. So it's not like you're guessing. You know exactly what's going on, and you also get intuitive information from the crystal itself as to how you're going to work with the crystal. So that's an option as well. Um, there was something else I was going to say. Um, I also want to say it's important to educate yourself about the crystals that you're working with. There's plenty of tools out there. There's a lot of books. You have Book of Stones. Love is in the Earth. It's one of my favorite books. Um, you have the crystal Bibles. Like, utilize these different tools to educate yourself about the crystals. I think sometimes we get so caught up. For example, here's another aspect. We get so caught up in the one thing I get a lot is, like, I need a crystal for, migraines, for example. And we get caught up in the physical vibration of the crystal because we want to overcome that physical aspect of it, but we're not approaching it, we're not peeling back the layers, and we're not approaching um, it from a deeper level. We're not looking at what's going on in our emotional bodies. We're not looking at what's going on within our mental bodies, within our etheric body, within our spiritual bodies, as to why this migraine manifested. So people are still, even with crystals, people are looking for quick fixes without really doing the real work. Like, people, the community still avoiding the real work. So it's important that you educate yourself about crystals. Um, it's important that you educate yourself about crystals past just reading um, a dissertation of information from a book. I think it's very important to learn about the structure of structural component of the crystal, as well as the chemical composition. The chemical composition of the crystal is really important because it helps you also understand how um, that mineral composition is going to interact and how it even works within your crystalline structure when you work with it. Um, for the example I'll use again is green calcite, um, and green calcite helps to break down and just look at the key words. We have calcite, calcium. Start to understand like the makeup of the chemical structures of these crystals. Calcite. When we talk about calcium, we talk about our bone, our structures, and we're talking about structures that have been created. That that are blocking us. When we have overcalcification, um, think about things like or breakdown of, we have like osteoporosis, things like that have to do with our bones. But when we talk about green calcite, we're talking about the heart. So we're talking about structures hardened structures that have been put in place that have blocked us in loving ourselves and the ability to love others. And when we work with calcite, working with it helps to decalcify, in a sense, those structures, or to break them down. And when we understand the chemical composition and the chemical makeup of the crystals as well, we hold a bigger key as to how it's going to work within our system. There's crystals that, for example, like green calcite may be uncomfortable for one person to work with because of the chemical makeup and their specific energetic and crystalline structure, but there's another one that can work with them in a similar fashion that has a different chemical makeup that's harmonious to their energetic signature. So, that's another reason why it's also important to work with someone who is knowledgeable in working with crystals, that understands more than just, that's well versed in, the information that's out there in terms of the leaders and, crystal information. Um, but someone that's also an expert in their field. Um, an expert in their field doesn't mean they have a college degree in geology. It really doesn't even mean that they have a certification. However, what it does mean is that um, they put in an effort. It is a priority in their life. It is life for them to learn as much as they can about crystals, whether it be through formal education, whether it be through taking a certification, whether it be towards, dedicating your time to reading many and many, crystal books, or going to workshops to educate yourself, and combining those tools into your own unique integration of a crystal practice, which is what I'm trying to facilitate a different approach um, towards crystals that's not being looked at, because, you know, again, I can't state enough. It's like I see and I experience a lot of people working with crystals, and they're not utilizing them, and they're not working with them in the right way. And when we're not when we're not understanding the crystals, we're not understanding how to truly work with them, we can do more damage to ourselves than we can do good, and we can continue to trap ourselves back into the cube, into this warped space, this fragmented space. And let's think about being compartmentalized and being fragmented as, okay, your whole self, your authentic self, your higher self, the full expression of your inner child is a circular mirror. And when we come in, we have we have full access to the blueprint of ourselves, our purpose. Um, we're connected to divine. We love unconditionally. We experience joy, happiness, playfulness. We take risks, so forth, so on. And then our parents may put our imprint, their beliefs, their fears, so forth on us, and then we start to get conditioned by societal beliefs, and then we start to have experiences that create pain or fear or those sorts of things, and we start to splinter. Um, Now imagine you have your first heartbreak, and it's like you drop the mirror and a corner of it shatters into pieces. And the more you go through life and experiences, maybe you um, wanted to be, as a child, you wanted to be a firefighter, and um, your parents were like, that's not a viable career. Everyone in our family are doctors, so you're not going to be who you truly are. We're going to be who we want you to be. So what you have to do in that situation is do what? You have to suppress who you are and push that down to please someone else. So you fragment yourself. So you shatter another piece of that mirror, and then you go through life having various experiences, and you continue to drop that mirror until it gets to the point where it's a bunch of shattered pieces. So when you see all those shattered pieces of glass, um, on the ground, they're components of where you've been splintered off from. They still hold light. That's important to remember. All those pieces still hold light, but we've allowed the darkness to come in through all those broken pieces, and we have to heal all those little fractured pieces so we can put the whole circular mirror back together and get back to who we really are. And when we work with crystals and we don't understand how to work with crystals, and we're not ready to even, because some people are genuinely not ready to work with certain crystals, but they work with them and it pushes them further into a repressed state, which harms people even more, and fragments them even more. So it can create a negatively aspected response when you're not prepared to deal with working with specific crystals, which pulls you even further behind the veil, which is what we don't want. So it's important to me to, one, really start educating people about crystals that they work with, being able to work with people and help guide them towards working with the crystals that they need, whether it's through working with the crystals itself, connecting with the crystals and translating that information to the client, um, and being able to provide coaching in a sense as they're working with the energy of the crystals, and guide them through the process. So as things are coming up and they're working with the crystals, they're not alone in the sense where they feel confused and lost and stuck, and you're dealing with it by yourself and you really don't understand what's going on. You have someone that you can trust, and someone that understands the crystal field and the crystal modalities that can guide you and coach you through this process as well. So it's not like you're left alone to deal with these things. So with this video today, I am announcing my coaching program, Embodying Light, which has been in the works for quite some time. It's also one of the major reasons why I pulled back from doing a lot of like the Periscope shows, doing the crystals. I still post over on Intheroughcrystals on Instagram crystals, but we're kind of integrating a lot of different pieces right now. So this has become a major project, and there's so many different pockets and so many different components in Embodying Light. One of those being what we were just talking about, being able to coach and guide people with working with the crystals that they actually need to work with. And then the second part of that program is working with a blueprint. And the program's called Living in Your Blueprint, which is a little bit more of a complex program. It's tailored. It involves life coaching, spirit coaching. There's exercises and components that you have to complete every day and actually turn in. So you're going to be accountable for this process as well. And you're going to be accountable in your process as healing. I just provide the tools. There's readings involved in this to kind of, for assessment purposes. Um, and we also tackle everything from a triad perspective. We tackle, the mind. We tackle the body. We tackle the spirit. So we also, have an assessment to look at, what mental patterns that you have, whether it's something that's been created in this lifetime or a past lifetime, or if it's something that's been passed down through your genetic lineage, from your parents or your ancestors. Um, we we take, and I call them closed doors. We take those closed doors and we start to deal with them and work through them, and we heal them so that we can create open doors. So there's reprogramming involved, bringing in um, new mindsets, whether it's through affirmations or other exercises to heal that practice so you don't revert back into the old pattern. When we're working in the body, we're doing intuitive nutrition. um, when I say nutrition, we're not saying diet, because when you start to heal, because we're multi-dimensional beings. When we start to heal different layers and facets and pockets of ourselves, all we need to do is just eat high vibrational food. We don't have to count calories and all do like really crazy diets. Like when we start to let go of what we're holding in our energetic fields, we naturally, our physical body naturally cleanses itself. It naturally does what it needs to do. As we release, our body starts to release. So if you're someone that's even overweight, think about that. Like most overweight people are holding on to so much baggage that their physical body response is to hold on to. So as we start to, I think we need to tackle obesity in a different way. Um, we need to tackle disease in a different way. And most disease originates in emotional and mental mindset and patterns in our emotional body. So as we start to work through and we start to heal these things and we start to release these things, then we come into balance and we come in alignment with self. And that's the best form of self care. So, we do work on intuitive nutrition, um, and tap into what types of foods are best for your energetic signature at this time, as well as any type of movement modalities or exercises that are beneficial for you. Um, and then we tackle spirit exercises as well, and we work with it in a perspective of wherever you are in your spiritual path. Um, you know, religion is really not. It doesn't, you know, really harm the process. It doesn't matter whether you're Christian. It doesn't matter whether you're Buddhist. It doesn't matter whether you're New Age. It doesn't matter whether you're just spiritual. It's like we tackle the spectrum from whatever your level of consciousness and awareness is and whatever your belief system is, and we utilize those tools to help you expand within yourself. This could be for some people, learning how to meditate, cultivating practices of self love. Um, I've had people where, actually have clients where they were raised in very strict religious families, but they've always been like intuitive. They've had like psychic gifts, or they've always been attracted to like tarot cards, or they've always, had visions. But again, you have your parents and their system and these sects that say, hey, this is not who you should be. And so then you push that down and you fragment yourself and you suppress it and you suppress who you are. You're suppressing your gifts. And then we go through life searching for something and being unhappy, when in turn we're really only searching for our authentic self. The separation that we feel, the abandonment that we feel, the loneliness that we feel is because we've separated from the essence of who we really are. And in my work, Embodying Light, we're trying to bring ourselves back into wholeness. We're re-embodying our light, our true sense of self. Um, so we tackle it from all aspects into a really integrated coaching program called Your Divine Blueprint. And it, again, it's work that we cultivate every day. There's an exercise for you to do every day. There's a meditation. There's educational things involved in this process. It's a total revamp of yourself on all levels. And that aspect of the program is for someone who's really, really ready to transform their life. So I'm really excited about some of the offerings that I have for Embodying Light, and I wanted to come out and I wanted to be able to announce them because I know a lot of people have been wondering, like, well, Chris, where have you been? Like, come on, I want my crystals. Like, and yeah, again, I've been posting on at Intheroughcrystals, and I will be filtering back into doing live shows again shortly. But this has now become an integrated process. It's about me providing multiple tools for people to heal um, their multidimensional self and step into who they really are. So I'm really excited to be able to integrate this new component and really bring this in. I feel like it's been a work in progress for a while, and I didn't know how it was going to come in, but it has manifested itself now. So if any of these programs, if it's something that resonates with you, or if you have any more personal questions about any of this, feel free to contact me. You can follow me at In the Rough Crystals. That's the main crystal page. You can also follow me at Chris underscore In the Rough Crystals. It's more of my personal page, but you get to see more of just the authenticity of me. And when I say authenticity, um, I want to show people that I want to get people out of the love and light movement. I believe the love and light movement is distorted. Um, Love and light puts you in a space where every space and every experience, it teaches people that all of these spaces are love and light and beautiful and whatever, and they may be those things. However, we still have light and darkness, and they can't exist without the other. So we have to love and understand our light, and we need to love and understand our shadow too. And to be in love and light all the time is a distortion, because what it does is it creates a space where it teaches people to only focus on light and to not deal with shadow and not embrace shadow or fear shadow. And it is through our shadow component of ourselves that we heal, and we're able to even expand our light. So over at Chris underscore In the Rough Crystals, you see me doing light working, doing healing work. You also see me in the shadow aspects of myself. I'm spirit having a human experience as well. I'm in the middle of doing deep purging and healing work and shadow work within myself. A lot of my experiences, and a lot of my struggles and challenges in my life, um, I've been able to use and cultivate and heal through and continue to heal through. And it's through these processes that I'm able to bring to you what I'm able to do. It's based off of experience. It's not based off of reading a book or taking a certification course or whatever. It's based upon experience. And you want to work with someone who's been through the trenches, that understands the shadow aspects of ourselves. Because if you work with someone that's only focused in light, and they haven't dealt, like, I've seen so many light workers promoting love and light that have, like, and I can see in their field nothing but dense shadow, because they're not looking at their shadow. They're not really looking at themselves. They're just only focused on the light. So they're not healed. um so I think it's important to always be in that space of balance and recognize the two. And you'll see on my page that I put that out there. I post pictures of me crying, purging, and you can read anyone's energy very easily if you attune yourself to it, and you could see that I go through ways as well. And it's like I want to show that to people, and I want people to see that, because this process, this earth process, this earth school, as to why we're here, is to learn about ourselves, to learn about ourselves. And that means we have to learn our shadow. We have to deal in this space so that we can step into these and access these doors on our blueprint. The reason why we feel the space of separation is because there's levels that we have of experience we have to have in growth, and that there are initiation, and a lot of times there's spaces on our blueprint with that they're locked doors, and they're locked doors because we haven't worked through the spaces we need to access those points. And with the Divine Blueprint program, we work through those spaces. So if the Crystal Deva readings or coaching is something you're interested in, feel free to contact me for more information. If you're really ready for some groundbreaking, life changing work, please contact me about the Divine Blueprint program. I will say about the Divine Blueprint program, I only take a limited amount of people because I work so intimately. I mean, you'll hear from me pretty much every day. There's work that you will be doing every single day in this program. So it's very, very hands on. It's not just like, let me email you one email and one video and you figure it out for the month and then I touch bases with you. Like, we have a very tight relationship. We are best friends through this process. So it's very important to me that that the people that I work with are really ready to go through this process. It's a serious commitment. It's a commitment to yourself, first and foremost. It's the highest form of self love that you can give yourself going through this process. And it's important to understand that there is a lot of energy exchange that happens in this process. So, therefore, it's important to me that I interview each person and see where you are, so I can understand what's going on and what your dedication to this process is, and so that I can determine whether you are an appropriate candidate for this program. So you know this is big for me, and you can understand that I won't just take on any client, because I want to make sure that the people that I do take on are the people that are really committed to self, really committed to this work, and their growth process at this time. So if it sounds like something that calls to you, again, feel free to message me. You could DM me on either Instagram page. You can also email me at intheroughcrystals@gmail.com. So I just wanted to, just come out and talk a little bit, and again, let everyone kind of know, just kind of the shifts that have been going on. Like, I'm just really excited for this process. I'm really excited for this new pocket of journeying, and we're in this beginning stages of it. But it's like I can just I can see the different timelines as to where In the Rough Crystals and Embodying Light can go now, and it's just, I'm so glad that this door has opened and these pieces are integrating together. They've kind of alchemized together. So I'm really excited, and thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. And I really miss a lot of you guys. I know I have a lot of people that watch me all the time, and they watch me on Periscope and Instagram and follow me. And I thank you so much for your support. Um, you know, Everyone knows, like, In the Rough Crystals started as a, like, just selling crystals, like, sitting in my closet back in Delaware, and it evolved into this huge crystal thing. And then we've gone through this wave where um, it's been kind of stagnant. But again, the main thing is that, like, I had to step back and do my own personal healing work, And, it also allowed, in me stepping back, it allowed me a space to cultivate something that has been wanting to come in. And if I didn't step back from that space, and work through my own process and work through my own healing, I wouldn't have seen that light, that door that wanted to open, which is to integrate the two processes. So now we're moving into this new direction, and it's like literally in my mind I can see, like, I felt like literally what I saw was like the yellow brick road. I feel like there's a lot of light down this pathway, and I'm really, really excited to really bring this process all the way into fruition. So um, I'm going to sign off for now. So if you have any questions, again, feel free to contact me. Um, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace and blessings, guys.